Hey everyone, it's Ally and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Centauri Perfumes. For those of you who don't know, Centauri Perfumes was a company that was started by Peter, who actually has a channel here on YouTube. It's called Fragrance View. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, I highly suggest checking him out. He's really good. I've been watching him for quite a few years now. His videos have helped me actually discover new fragrances in my collection that are some of my favorites. I really love his reviews. I love his channel. I love his aesthetic. I love everything kind of about the guy. Like, he's just super cool. He just seems like a cool dude that like you could totally hang out with and vibe with. And yeah, once he started his line, Centauri Perfumes, for those of you that have been watching my channel for a minute, you guys know I raved about Proxima from his line. The bottle looked like this. It's one of my favorite fragrances to this date. I keep it on my vanity. It's super freaking gorgeous. And just like the attention to detail, like his bottles are stunning. They look like gems in my opinion. They have these super heavy caps that are so detailed as well. Like, they're just absolutely stunning and they're heavy as hell. Like, holy guacamole. Like, just the attention to detail, the packaging, the fragrances themselves are like 10s out of 10s for me. This one in particular has been one of my favorites, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you've probably seen my review on this one. When this launched, I ended up buying a bottle right away, and it's one of the few fragrances in my collection that I actually own backup bottles of. I tend to not buy backup bottles just because I don't go through fragrance that fast, being that I have so many in my collection, that it's really hard for me to justify owning a backup. There's very few fragrances in my collection that I do have backups of, because I do have some of other fragrances, but it's really like, they've got to be really good in order for me to own backups of. Centauri Proxima is one of the few that I own a backup of in my collection. So that speaks volumes to the fragrance itself, in my opinion. Because for me to own something and have backups of it, it really has to either be good or it has to resonate with me in a really deep way. And this one is super good in my opinion, and it also resonated with me in a really deep way. Just hearing Peter talk about his inspiration for the fragrance being a piece of art and a piece of music really resonated with me, especially when he showed the piece of music and art. When that fragrance launched, just hit me in such a spiritual way that I knew I had to have it. And then once I got it, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. I wore it a lot the summer it came out. It was like my everyday grab and go fragrance. It was just really good, and to this day it's still really good. I still love it, and it sits on my vanity and I use it pretty often, honestly. But today I'm going to be talking about his two newest launches. I did get a sample pack. It was sent to me by Peter. Thank you, Peter, for sending these my way. I've had these for a couple weeks, so I've been able to sort of get my thoughts and opinions on these. I do like one a lot more than the other. They're both good, both completely different, and we're going to get into that today. For those of you who are new to my channel, just because these were sent to me doesn't mean that I'm just going to give a great review. You guys know I'm going to be honest and give you my opinions on everything. And that's what I'm going to do today, is just give you my honest thoughts on these fragrances, because they're really good. I mean, I'm honestly a big fan and supporter of Peter. I love his line, like I said. His concepts are beautiful. His thought process is beautiful. Just everything about his fragrances are just really beautiful to me. We're going to get into it with the first one. It's called Om, and it comes in a red bottle. The reason this one comes in a red bottle is because this is part of the Naturals line. He has 3 different lines in his collections. The red bottles signify that they are mainly or predominantly all natural ingredients. The white bottles signify that there is a mix of natural ingredients and synthetics. And the blue bottle, which is Proxima, is a synthetic based fragrance. Like, it's all synthetic and it's so good. Like, it's just so good, you guys. But we're gonna get into it with Om. Om is an oud based fragrance, so my lovers of oud, you might really enjoy this. I'm very picky with oud fragrances. I do like oud, but it's just very dependent on the type of oud it is. This one has notes, and I have the notes listed on the back. Thai oud, frankincense, spikenard, patchouli smoke, pink pepper, ginger, juniper berry, lavender, Peru balsam, synthetic civet, and white ambergris. Now, when I tell you this is an oud fragrance, It's an oud fragrance. Like, this is wham bam in your face oud, especially on initial blast. Like, respray it. As soon as you spray it, you get that kind of animalic, almost barnyardy Thai oud. There are slight fruity nuances to the fragrance as well, coming from, I believe, the oud. But predominantly, I get sort of like an animalic, sort of musky effect. There's this sort of aromatic quality coming through as well. And I think it's from the juniper berries and the lavender, giving it this sort of aromatic touch. It's really interesting. As it settles down, I found, because I did wear this quite a few times, I'm like halfway through the sample. But as it settles down and it gets into the deep dry down, that's when I found I really enjoyed this fragrance. Not so much in the opening. The opening was really animalic and oudy and for my taste. But I know a lot of people that are super into like animalic oudy fragrances. But when I say that it's animalic, it's not like, oh my gosh, like fecally or like anything like that. It just sort of smells like a stable, like a barn stable. That's pretty much what I'm getting from it. This oud smells kind of barnyardy, stably, in my opinion. As it starts to settle, the frankincense really starts to show itself. This really smoky, resinous-y quality starts to develop as well. And this sort of earthiness starts to take place. And when it gets to that point is when I really found myself enjoying the fragrance. It's very zen-like. It's a little bit oudy, but at this point it's not overtly animalic at all. It's earthy, incensey, sort of calming. There's a very calming quality to this fragrance once it completely settles down that I really did enjoy. It's earthy, it's incensey. Got a little bit of a smoky quality to it as well, with a sort of woody backbone. It's really, really beautiful, and I really think that a lot of men will be geared more toward this fragrance. I think I would really like to smell this on a man. It is unisex in my opinion, but it leans a bit more on the masculine side. It's a really interesting fragrance. My lovers of oud out there, especially Thai oud, definitely get your nose on this one. It's not a bad fragrance, you guys. Probably not my personal favorite of the two, but it's not bad. If you want something calming, earthy, that's almost like bohemian chic, then definitely get your nose on this one. It's a really interesting oud fragrance. I think if you're into that sort of like earthy, like free spirit sort of vibe, then I think you'll definitely enjoy this fragrance. For me personally, I wouldn't wear this one, but I would love to smell it on a man nonetheless. Really, really good fragrance and well done, Peter. The next one that I'm going to talk about comes in the white bottle. So this one is a mix of synthetics and naturals. And this one is called Antheia. This one has notes of mandarin, yuzu, aldehyde, apricot, raspberry, pink lotus, orris butter, violet, rose absolute, vanilla, musk, amber, and white ambergris. And this one I wore the hell out of. Like, I'm at the very bottom of my damn sample. This one, if you guys haven't been able to tell, that's the one I really enjoyed. This one does pull a bit more feminine. Quite a bit more feminine. And this is just so... something about this fragrance reminds me of like this sort of otherworldly effect that I got from Proxima. Not that they smell the same, but there's something really sort of bright and sort of like sparkling about this fragrance. I found that same effect in Proxima, this bright, sparkling sort of otherworldly effect that I get in this as well. What I love about this is that citrus really shines through. That yuzu and the mandarin makes it so juicy in the opening. The aldehydes are what's adding this sort of like sparkling effect in my opinion, because it almost has like this sparkly fizzy effect. And it's just so, so beautiful. The longer this sits on my skin personally, I get sort of like a slightly green effect. I think it's coming from the rose absolute that's in this, mixing in with that orris butter. It almost gives me a really natural vibe. Though this is a synthetic and natural fragrance, this pulls a lot more natural on me than anything. but it's just so, so beautiful. It's so, so bright. It's sparkling. It's a little fruity with these beautiful floral nuances that just sort of flutter in the background that the aldehydes just make so bright and uplifting. This is stunning. Like, I want to wear this in the summer. I want to wear this in the spring. This just smells so freaking good, you guys. It's sparkling, it's bright, it's effervescent. It's just beautiful. This is a stunning fragrance. And this one I will be buying a full-size bottle of. I can tell you that right now, hands down. I really like this one. I love this sort of natural effect that it like leaves on my skin. It just makes me feel so beautiful and feminine. And I think if you're into sparkling, bright, beautiful fragrances, then this is a must-have for your collection. It's really, really good. And honestly, this is going to be my next purchase from the company because, dang, like, there's something about this sparkling effect that he puts in his fragrances, or that he knows how to, like, sort of create in his fragrances, that I really do enjoy. And what I loved about this one is that it's sort of reminiscent of Proxima, which is, like I said, my favorite from like his entire line. And not that they're the same at all, because they're completely different fragrances, but the way he used this like sort of yuzu aldehyde effect to create this sort of fizzy, like sparkling, almost champagne-like effect is so beautiful that I absolutely need this in my life. And I think if you guys are into those sort of fragrances, sparkling, slightly fruity, floral fragrances that are just sort of next level, then I think you guys will really enjoy it. And yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the two fragrances. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was a short one, and again, thank you to Peter for sending these my way to test out. I really did enjoy them, and like I said, I will be getting a full-size bottle of Anthea. Until next time, you guys, I will catch you on the new one.